In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact system that I use for contractors all over the US to help them book over 10 remodels each and every single week, completely on autopilot. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first things first, we need a system for actually generating interest for these remodels. And before I explain what to do, let me explain what not to do. So I would typically avoid hiring traditional marketing agencies for this. So what they typically do is they'll run the ads for you, but then after that, they just give you the leads and expect you to deal with them. And a lot of the times, these are low quality, unqualified leads, and it usually does not end up working out well. The next thing I would avoid is platforms like Angie's List, Thumbtack, and Home Advisor. And while you can book jobs from these, typically you end up competing with 20 other contractors for the same few leads, and you end up in a price war for who can charge the lowest. And believe me, this is not where you want to be. And then lastly, I would avoid relying solely on word of mouth and referrals. And now don't get me wrong, word of mouth and referrals are absolutely amazing and you should 100% go for them. But when it's your only source of generating new jobs, you can't consistently and predictably grow your business because you don't control how many referrals are coming in each and every single month. So in order to actually generate interest for your remodels, we are going to be running Facebook and Instagram ads, and we are going to be using UGC style AI actor ads. I've done a ton of testing, and this ad style in particular is absolutely crushing right now, just because a lot of people are sick of being sold to on social media, and these style of ads tell a story about your business rather than selling your business. It's almost like when one of your clients refers their friends to your business, you already have that level of trust and connection already pre-built. And so we're essentially replicating that with this style of ad. So in order to actually create these ads, it's very simple. All we're going to do is go to ChatGPT and plug in this prompt. You can essentially just take a screenshot here and just paste it into ChatGPT with all your applicable information. And you can kind of customize it based off what angle you want to go for. And then from there, once you have your script, you just plug it into either HeyGen or ArcAds. So you just plug in your script, choose the AI actor you want, and it will spit back out a video for you. Then you also want to actually edit the video to make it more interesting. I like to use After Effects and Premiere Pro to edit my videos, although you can, of course, outsource this to someone else. But the actual recipe for how we're going to be editing these videos is very simple. It's just going to be captions with B-roll plus music. So no crazy edits. You literally just need these three elements. So as far as the actual strategy for how we're going to be running these ads, I recommend running 3 to 5 of these videos at once, but this really depends on your budget. Typically, if you're spending on the lower end, like $30 to $50 per day, I would recommend only running 3 videos at once. And if you're doing 100 plus per day, you can do more and split test different variations. I would actually recommend you split test as much as you can. So different angles, different ideas, different hooks, just because the more variety, the better, usually when it comes to Facebook ads. In order to support that, you need to have a higher budget most of the time. So that's just my recommendation, although you can 100% crush with $50 per day in running 3 video ads. Then you also want to retarget anybody who watches above 50% of the original creatives with a specific video built for retargeting. And I'm actually going to make a full guide on this, so make sure to watch out for that. And of course, if you do find a winning format or ad, you can scale and replicate it by making new ads in a similar style or format. From there, we need to actually filter out the leads that come in so we don't waste our time with bad leads. And the first step in filtering them out is just to have an on Facebook lead form where you just ask for their name, contact info, such as like email, phone number, etc., project type, project location, and budget. From there, you want to send them to a calendar page to book a phone consultation with you. And in addition to this, we are going to be qualifying them to make sure that they are a good fit for your service. So essentially, if it's during business hours when the lead opts in through the Facebook form, I like to have a human appointment setter call them up and qualify them on fit, budget, authority, and timing. Again, I will have an entire video just on how to qualify leads, so make sure to watch out for that. And then if it's outside of business hours, I have an AI caller do the exact same thing. And they've gotten so good now that you can basically not even tell if it's a human or an AI. It's absolutely wild. My favorite platforms to use for this are Retail, Vappy, and Synflow, although Retail right now is my favorite. So something super, super important is you want to make sure to be calling your leads within less than 60 seconds, just because they've done studies where if you call them within less than a minute, you actually have a 391% increase in sales closing rate, just because when you wait too long, people forget about your service, they lose interest, or even they find someone else before you can even get to them. So it's super, super, super important that you are calling them up as soon as you possibly can. Next from here, once they've booked a call, we need to actually nurture them so that they actually show up on the call. So once they've booked the call, we want to have an SMS sequence or a text sequence, an email sequence, and a call sequence. So for the SMS and email sequence, as soon as they opt in, you want to send an initial text and email that basically just says, hey, congrats on booking your call. Here is where we are going to be meeting at. This is the date and time. Can't wait to talk to you, etc. Then from there, you want to remind them 24 hours before your call, then 1 hour before your call, and then just 10 minutes before your call. Then in addition to this, I like to call my leads up the morning of, just to make sure that they're still good for their appointment and they can still make it. Then this leads to a phone consultation with them where you just first want to build rapport, ask questions, get to know them a little bit. Obviously not too much, but just make yourself seem friendly and approachable. Then from there, you want to talk about their project more in depth. And then lastly, you just want to schedule an in-person estimate if it makes sense for the both of you. Of course, then you go in person, check out the property, close the deal, and boom, there you have it. And just to show you some sample numbers of what you can expect if you implement the system correctly, let's say that you run $50 per day in ads and you have a $50 cost per lead, which means you're getting 30 leads each and every single month. From these 30 leads, let's say you have a 70% good fit rate, which basically just means for every 30 leads that come in, only 21 of them actually are qualified for your service. From there, you have an 80% show up rate. So actually only 80% of the 21 show up on your call, which is 17 leads. So for every 80% of people who show up to the phone consultation, only 8% of them are qualified for the estimate. Then from there, you have 14 estimates. And out of those 14, you close about 50%, which is pretty average. So that's 7 projects closed. And let's assume a $10,000 average order value. That is a 1 to 46 return on ad spend. So for every $1,500 you're putting in, that is $70,000 you are getting back. And this seems far-fetched, but this is 100% feasible if you're able to get the system down right. And obviously, when you're first starting out, you're not going to get these numbers right off the bat. You do have to work up to them. So that's the entire system. And just to recap, we want to have a system for actually generating leads. Then we want to filter out the bad leads from the good leads. You want to nurture them to make sure that they actually show up on the call. This leads to a phone consultation, which then leads to an in-person estimate. And then you close the deal. And then I also have a referral system in place, which I didn't talk about today, but I will be making a full video on this to essentially get more referrals and word of mouth from your existing customers. So make sure to look out for that one. And this leads back into more leads, which essentially creates a never-ending spiral of new customers. So there you have it. Make sure to take action, and thank you guys for watching.